welcome to today's video. Today's video, I am getting back to the more normal and routine videos. Sorry about the last couple days. I think I've made some fun stuff and I was having a little bit of fun. I've been a little busy. So I did a bit of a live stream test this morning, which went pretty well until the Wi-Fi decided my live stream was over. A couple other minor things here and there, but it went well. So I intend to do a couple more of those, especially at more convenient times for people. So thank you for the people that did come by. It really was awesome, and thank you again for that. I also did a channel trailer, which was a whole lot of fun to make. And yesterday I intended to do a couple of longer videos, but I woke up feeling pretty not great. So I did a shorter one, just talking a bit about Carnage's passive, which, long story short, I think Carnage is one of the very best characters in the game. I was going to say just invest in him, but money, I get it. Not everyone has the money to spend on a character in a game. I did because I was saving up for him. I'm very excited about him. But again, depends on your values, depends on what you feel the money is worth and feel character is worth, what you most value with your money. That's up to you guys. I would never encourage spending on anything like this. I would just say, if you are wondering whether or not he is a good character, he is an amazing character. And once the Blitz comes, I suggest pushing as hard as you can, and then Alliance War, do your best to get as many points as you can. I don't know how it really works, but he should be in the store for that, so farm him. He is worth it. I promise you, you will not regret it. He's fun, cool animations. Exciting, all around. Anyways, today's video is a request on roster management. So, as you may know, recently in the Alliance War dev blog posts, they kind of mentioned that a wide roster is best, which is a bit of trouble for a lot of people that have a tall roster. So, just for the terminology's sake, I'll explain what that is. I would have liked to have some examples specifically, but I couldn't think of anyone in my alliance that had a tall roster, so I didn't really get the examples. I have a pretty wide roster, but okay, here is what, let's go here. Click this here, my player card. Your strongest team power, let's say, is 120,000, and your total collection power is 350,000. That is a very tall roster. It means you're not really built in a lot of different ways. You have one team taking up most of your power. It's just top heavy. And once you pass that, you kind of are done. So for a lot of people, especially now since the Defenders, a lot of people basically have been encouraging people just to get the Defenders and farm them up as high as you can. And don't worry about the rest because they'll be good for Arena. They'll help you in Blitz. They'll help you in Raids. Well, it's actually not overly true in Blitz, because one team doesn't win everything. It's all about a lot of teams. So if you start building a wider roster, it'll help with that. A wide roster means, yes, you have your strongest team, you have your strongest teams even, but it means that you also unlock as many characters as possible. For me, I think, let's look at all the characters I don't have unlocked, and you'll get a feeling for what I mean. I don't have Nick Fury, Ultimus, and Ultron. Fury I should be getting with his next event. Ultimus, I'm starting to get shards for him a lot quicker. Ultron, I'll get back to you about that in about a year. Hopefully, I don't know. It'll be a while before I get Ultron. Point being, if you look at this, I do have a bit of a bottom of the roster, which is pretty weak. A lot of these characters, they're just not overly worth my resources. The AIM, the Hydra, my Ronin I should start working on a bit. Some of my mercenaries in hand, just basically some of my minion characters. I leveled them up enough that they will win in Blitz on the first couple of tiers, and for anything specifically I need them for. Beyond that, I didn't really focus much of my resources on them. But then once you pass the minions, even my shield minions are decent, almost every one of my characters is at least 10,000. Like, a lot of these characters aren't viable for a lot of things. My Carnage is growing, so he'll be up there. But I got them to points where they are viable for what I need them for. You'll also notice I had a pretty lowly Mantis and a lowly Groot. I was building them up, but I hit a point in the Ultimate 6 raids where even at this power level as the team that I have, because the way the rest of the characters are, I was blowing through it without any issues, not losing any characters. So I figured I'd hold off and start investing elsewhere, Carnage, until got my Carnage where I wanted him, and then I'll start investing with them more because I just didn't need it as much. My Iron Man, same thing, kind of stopped at my Jessica Jones. But you'll notice I have a lot of team options, and they're all relatively powerful. It's very important to get to this point because you lose your top team, which you will. You need to be able to keep going. For Alliance War, you need to have a lot of different teams. You need to set up different defenses, different offenses, and you can't use the same characters for both. So if you have one team, like let's say you have the Defenders, you use them on offense, you will have no characters to put on defense for your Alliance that will be able to do anything. And that's not good. You need to be able to defend and attack. So for instance, for me, I could do a Star-Lord, Rocket, Thanos, Mantis Groot team, whatever, doesn't really matter. I could do a Star-Lord and Thanos Rocket combination on offense, and then I could do Brotherhood on defense. I could do Miss Marvel's Brawlers on defense. I could do a bunch of single target damage like Loki and Winter Soldier on defense. I could do Mystics because I have Scarlet Witch here. Point is, you have to really work on building up your entire roster bit by a bit. So some good, important ways to consider this. I tend to save up my power cores until event campaigns come by. What do I mean by an event campaign? Let's see. We don't actually have one now, so I'm not sure why I'm going to this screen. First off, I love those events. They should do more of those. Okay, so why am I here? Let's see. The War Machine event. The Ant-Man, the Deadpool event, the Wasp event, the Miss Marvel event, the Scarlet Witch event. Who else have we had recently? We've had a lot of them recently. Sabretooth, Pyro, Juggernaut. They all had campaign events. When those events come by, I use a lot of cores on those events. Basically, I use all the given energies, and then the moment the reset hits, I will refresh it for all of the 50 power core refreshes for energy and just farm those characters. So I can get as many of those characters up to a reasonable level as possible. With a bit of luck, I managed to get all of my Brotherhood characters up to 6 star, except Mystique, because she didn't have an event. I also got Storm up to 6 stars. So for Magneto, I was able to get a 6-star Magneto the second time around after all the events had been done. My War Machine, who a lot of people complained was very hard to farm, I got 142 shards on my War Machine. I got a bit of luck on some of my drops. I got some 23s and such, but point being, even though he wasn't the only character I was getting a lot of his shards. I got about 50 Black Widow shards from that event. If you really just push on those event campaigns, you get a lot of character shards. And Blitz. Blitz is huge. You have to really focus on Blitz so you can unlock as many characters as possible and you can really build up. Like, get a lot of shards, get enough stars. Another important thing to note is when you're going through the stores, Blitz store and Raid store, buy the orbs. Blitz store here, let's look. Buy this Blitz orb. Don't bother with these individual purchases, because at the end of the day, you want all these characters anyways, and you want them at a decent level. So why would you spend more resources on just focusing on one of the characters when you can grow your entire roster at the same time for cheaper? It just makes more sense. And plus you get gold. Everyone needs gold. I really need gold. Now here in this raid store, it's a little bit more complicated because something like this is huge. These are not helpful. This is helpful. A lot of the gear in here is very helpful. So it's kind of a balance between gear and raid orbs. This orb right here, because it's cheaper than any of the character shards. It's the same characters and you get more shards. More shards for cheaper is always better in this game. So you want to build as much of a roster as possible. What I do suggest is every time you unlock a character, no matter how bad of a character it is, bring them up to at least level 30. Ideally level 40. I know not all my characters meet that. I really should meet that, and I will. It's just I got distracted. Try not to get distracted. It doesn't help. But I brought my entire bottom of the roster up to level 30. No gear, no abilities. So it's not a big investment, but that little bit gets you a team that's going to get you more blitz points every time. They win more, and honestly, they win at higher tiers. It's just very helpful, and that way you've already invested a little bit. So if an event comes by and you somehow now need the Hydra minions, well, now you need a bunch of gear, a bunch of abilities, whatnot. But at least they're already kind of leveled, so it's not like, okay, now I've got to bring every one of these characters from 1 to 45 and get all their blue mats and green mats. It's a whole lot less of a hassle. It's just a bit of an investment, but it's really worth it. Then after that, determine if you think a character is good or not. If a character you don't think is great, level them up a bit. For me, I kind of gave up on leveling up my Wasp. I probably could have brought her up more, but I kind of left her at about here because for me, I didn't really need her anywhere specific. So she was just a bit of a leftover character. So what I did, I brought her up to 45, got some of her abilities up. Now if I ever do need to invest in her, I can. Now she's usable for Blitz, gets me some more Blitz points, can be usable for small things here and there. Nebula, same thing. Mantis is a good character. Don't base my Mantis being there as me saying she's not great. But with these characters, then if you find a character good, Carnage, work on him. Get his abilities up. Get his gear to a decent level. Tier 7 is good for alright characters, good characters. Tier 9 is a good place to shoot for. Now if you're really pushing for a character, a great place to get is tier 10. If you really, really like a character, it takes forever. You can go up to tier 12. But the point is, try and use enough resources in every character that you find good or usable to get them to a usable level if you need it for an event. For instance, if I lose my main team on raids, okay, that's unfortunate. I lose a lot of top characters. But I can take out a node with my Miss Marvel's Brawler team. I have a lot of hero brawlers at usable levels. Gamora's tier 10, 6663, not even maxed on abilities, level 60. And that's a very well-leveled character. You don't need every single one of your characters to be tier 12, level 70. It's not about building 10 characters to level 70, tier 12. You're going to have a lot more success building 40 characters to level 60, tier 10, and then start building the abilities up. I build abilities up either one character at a time or a team at a time. I tried to do the team with the defenders. Takes a bit more time and commitment, but it does help. And you can get them all to a usable level. So make sure you're raiding a lot to get as much ability materials as possible. It'll help you grow the fastest. I also did it with the Brotherhood because, well, the Brotherhood's amazing. As you can see, my Magneto, he's not as powerful as he could be because I could get more gear on him. A couple gear spots away from purple gear. Purple gear is a great place to get. Blue gear is doable, but you get to purple gear, you know that person's pretty usable. I'm a little bit short on that, just hoping to casually get his gear through coincidence while I work on other things because I have a lot of things I need to work on to get a few things I need done in this game. But point being, just get them to usable levels. However that is, 20,000 is a great mark. Depends on how long you've been playing the game too. Obviously, if your highest character is 7,000 and I'm telling you to get all your characters to 20,000, that's not helpful. But don't forget about the non-main team characters. Like Green Goblin, he's a good character, he's not the best character, but you know, he's going to have uses. He's really good on the Spider-Verse team, for instance. So make sure you get your characters to a usable level. So that way, when no matter what you have to do, you are at least somewhat prepared. I was most concerned a little back. There was one group, apparently I decided that none of the characters were worth it to me. Right here. We had an event for skill, and I had, well, at the time, my Punisher was at like 12,000. So I had Gamora, Night Nurse, and Black Widow leveled. My shield minions are still a little low. They'll get up there when I get Fury. Just right now, they aren't priority. So I was like, oh gosh, maybe I should look more at my skill characters. Occasionally, you'll run into the issue, or other spots you won't. See, my tech team? My tech team is covered. got a lot of high-powered tech. My Iron Man needs a little higher. My Korath could be higher. We're going to bring up my Kree Oracle soon, depending on how the rework is. But just make sure to not forget about your characters. Push an arena as much as you can. But at the end of the day, power cores are huge. They're very helpful. But if you're really banking... Wow, I fell 30 spots or 20 spots in arena since like 30 minutes ago. That's sad. Anyways, if you really think the 50 power cores a day difference is worth not unlocking characters, I disagree with you. For instance, if you get 90th in arena because you didn't fully focus on that one team to be the strongest in that one team to make sure you dominate arena and dominate raids, okay, you get 150 power cores a day. But raids, you're doing pretty good still. If you lose your main team, you can throw backup teams in Blitz. You're unlocking all the characters in Blitz. You are making a big push. You're getting all your characters to 4 stars, 5 stars, 6 stars even. Getting into the Dark Dimension now. Being eligible for legendary events. All these huge things. Basically, everything in this game rewards you being prepared for everything. So do your best to just spread out your roster. There's not much more I can say on that. Just the rewards for building a wide roster are a lot more meaningful and useful and long-term than any rewards you can possibly get for short-term, for tall roster. So just focus on building out and not as much on building up. They'll be built up naturally over time. So that's pretty much what I've got to say to you. So speaking of unlocking all the new characters, I do have a giveaway going on for Captain Marvel. If you want to enter that, a great way to start is to hit that subscribe button right now and be entered 10 times for that giveaway. Then go check out the video to find out all the other ways to join that giveaway. It is on my channel called Giveaway Incoming. I will also leave it as a card on the end screen here, so if you just get right past my little graphic of my logo going away, you can see it there. And get a good chance to win Captain Marvel. Who doesn't want a free character? For you guys, it's free. For me, not so much. Anyways, if you want, I will have a link to my Discord down in the video description. You can reach me there pretty much anytime. Unless I'm literally sleeping, then I probably will answer you the moment I'm up. I'm very responsive, always open to answer questions. I have a link to a Patreon and a Tippy down in the video description. Those are both good ways to support me. Tippy even has a feature where you can just watch music videos and I get money, and you pay $0. That sounds pretty good to me. Anyways, I really hope this was helpful, and you enjoyed this. As always, I'm here to help.